Welcome or welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to the family. I'm honored to have you here. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. So today's reading, we are getting wisdom for your own fulfillment. Now, fulfillment is something that we define for ourselves. Only each individual person knows what fulfillment really looks like and really means. It could mean family. It could mean home. It could mean a successful career. It could mean all of these things all at the same time. Fulfillment could be overcoming an addiction. It could be moving beyond anxiety. It could be conquering PTSD. Fulfillment comes in a variety of ways, and it's defined by each and every one of us. But one thing that we all have in common is we all need a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of guidance, and a lot of love and support when we are seeking to find what fulfillment means to us and seeking to achieve that state of being. I wanted to give this reading the opportunity to just speak what it needs to. When I was in Montana recently, I got really, really excited because I went to the Yellowstone River and I found these amazing gems in the river itself, just in the riverbed, like things that, for the most part, for where I'm at, I have to make sure that I find the right resources and find the right sellers, and that's how I get my crystals. But this time it was like magnetic how these crystals came into my life. And one of them in particular, a gigantic yellow jasper, I couldn't even fathom putting it back in the river because it literally would not, it like adhered to me. As soon as I put my hand in the water, I was automatically drawn to it. And there's so much wisdom within these stones. There's so much history and experience. And we don't often think about inanimate objects as carrying a vast amount of wisdom. But in my experience, they do. And now I'm being called to actually pull it out. So you guys can skip forward if you want, but I'm going to grab it real quick. So this is the yellow jasper that I pulled out of the river. And it actually has a little bit of red jasper in it as well. And it almost carries a look of being very similar to tiger's eye. And in fact, when it's wet, it looks very similar to tiger's eye. But this big baby literally came to me. And ever since coming into contact with it, the energy of optimism, the energy of sunlight, the energy of confidence and personal power for me on my own has increased on a daily basis, just simply from the proximity, but also from the fact that this stone wanted to work with me, wanted to teach me what it was like to own my own light, to own my own wisdom, and to really just simply have the trust and the confidence in myself that oftentimes I struggle with. Each of the piles have crystals. And then we have the runes with the witch runes. So I am going back to that for this reading. I know I skipped it for my last few readings, but they really were calling out here. So we're going to look at both the crystal on the card as well as the implication of the rune itself. And lapis lazuli, one of the features of lapis lazuli is literally wisdom. And that is what each of these crystals are that are holding the runes. So we are deepening our wisdom, and we're getting it from parts of the earth that have been formed in order to help us grow. Collectively, we're working with the eye rune. And the eye rune has many different meanings, but with it combined with this grow from the inside sticker that I got from my Mindful Souls box, which FYI, I'm not affiliated with them, but this is totally a plug for them because I love those boxes. They always say exactly what I need, always have exactly what I need. And it's so beautifully synchronistic. It's outrageous. And it's sent out to a vast collective. So if you guys ever want to check that out, by all means. But we've got grow from the inside, and then we've got the perspective card. Sometimes we do need a perspective shift in order to be able to really see our own growth, but also to harness more growth in our life. So the way this reading works, I have the Osho Zen Tarot deck, but I'm going to be using it as an Oracle deck. And then I have the Symbols deck and the Sacred Creator deck. So we are basically working all in Oracle energy. And we're also going to be doing some bibliomancy with the Elemental Encyclopedia of Magical Creatures, which I'm super excited to use, you guys. Okay, that was me like super excited. So we're going to do some bibliomancy in that, but we're going to get the core energy of each of these cards each of the cards with the runes. And we're going to find out what wisdom is ready to awaken within you, what wisdom you need confirmation on, what wisdom you need to, not necessarily need to, but is open for you to tap more deeply into. So pile 1, we have the Presley Bluestone, and it's the card number 33. And we also have the Waves rune. Card number 2, in pile 2, we have the card number 37 with Lavender Aragonite. And we also have the Crossroads rune. Card number 3, we have Mookite Jasper. And it is card number 3 with the Rings rune. And card number 4, we have Charoite. I think I'm saying that right. Card number 50. And the Sun rune. So with all of that being said, as you guys might be able to tell, I am kind of messing around with the lighting. I have noticed that I might need to get some blackout curtains in my office for when I'm filming during the day, which I usually do, because it's getting harder and harder to compensate for the glare of the sun for you guys to be able to see. And I want you guys to, have a good quality video. So bear with me. We're going to be doing some shifting and changing with some things so that you guys get a clearer image on the screen. And if all else fails, I'll just switch to 4K. But 1080p usually works the best for uploading onto YouTube. And I want you guys to be able to get the messages when they come in and when I'm called to bring them to you. So with all that being said, please bear with me with all the tech changes and lighting changes and this and that. We're going to get some audio changes pretty soon because I finally got a boom arm for my mic, so I don't have to be very excessively mindful of leaning over and talking into my mic. So if anybody goes on to Kismetology, my microphone is in a kind of weird position for filming, but I'm doing my best and we're navigating these seas together. So I appreciate you guys being on this journey with me. Without further ado, I am going to go ahead and turn on some meditation music for you guys. Go ahead and tap into the energies. If any of you guys actually stuck around throughout this entire intro, leave a comment because I'm pretty impressed. This has been kind of an all over the place intro, which I normally have it really set, but it is what it is. So I will see you guys at your piles. And again, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Hello, pile one. If you chose the first card, the Presley Blue Stone, and the card number 33, as well as the Waves rune, this is your message for wisdom for your own fulfillment. So with the Presley, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I likely could be. I didn't want to look up the pronunciation of it. I don't know why. It just wasn't calling to me. But with this energy combined with the Waves rune, one of the first things that the information about the Waves rune talks about is about the fact that it is made up of a spiral with the waves surrounding the spiral. Now, a spiral is about time. It's about the journey. And the Presley Blue Stone talks about finding your spiritual compass, finding your direction. When we have a concept of time, sometimes we can get caught up in what the outside world says time looks like. You know, time as a linear notion. We go from January 1st to December 31st, and then we start a new year, and that new year constitutes some newness every single time, except that's not always how it's been. You know, the Egyptian New Year happens during Lionsgate on August 12th is usually the signification of the Egyptian New Year. And the Mayan New Year falls right around that time as well. And the New Year for witchcraft and Wicca is denoted by the Sabbats, and that would be Samhain or October 31st, which is what we call Halloween. That denoted a time of transition into a new year, the ending of one and the beginning of another. And then there's the zodiacal new year, which falls in March sometime when the sun ingresses into Aries. And then you have the lunar new year, which falls during Candlemas or Imbolc in February. All of these things are different forms of new beginnings and new cycles and new chapters and a concept of the passage of time. The calendrical new year for January 1st to December 31st, that is the most recent version of tracking time. And we track it based off of the sun and the earth and all of these things. But time is not linear. Time is the spiral. And with the energy of the Presley Blue Stone, it signifies that you have the wisdom of both, actually all three, the past, the present, and the future. It's having this shamanic understanding of time in a more enlightened view. The number 33 itself denotes spiritual mastery, the master teacher number. And we think of the master teachers as the ascended masters. So this is about you having access to the wisdom of the ascended masters, to the wisdom of the chaos that is us trying to define time. But it also is about creativity, enlightenment, insight. You have this deep spiritual energy, and that energy wants to awaken fully. For it to awaken fully, it requires us to surrender to what we contain within ourselves and really break ourselves free of the bounds of what society says, the bounds of what history says, the bounds of what even our own mentality might say. You know, if you skip the intro, which FYI, I don't blame you. It was really long. But the collective energy here is a perspective shift to help you see your own internal growth, but also to help fuel that inner growth. And when we fuel inner growth, then we grow externally as well into whatever area it is that we're seeking to grow in. Fulfillment for you could be any number of things, but it definitely constitutes the energy of learning how to master sharing your wisdom in some way, shape, or form. This doesn't have to be in the form of spiritual teaching or anything like that, you might have wisdom as a parent. You might have wisdom as someone out in the working world, and you just can see more than the average person about the ways in which things should flow, the ways in which things should work. And when you harness this, when you accept this, when you move into this, that's when your life changes. That's when you really find your own true north, your spiritual compass, and your direction in life. No one can tell you this is where you should go. And it's audacious for somebody to do so. I would never sit here and be like, no, you have to do exactly this, specifically this, in this way, at this time, because I'm not you. And the guidance that I bring forth for the collective is not meant to be a definitive thing. It's meant for you to take it and apply the parts that resonate and feel more connected. And realize that you have a cheering section, not just in the spirit world, but also here on my channel. You have this deep innate ability to see beyond what the rest of the world is defining and structuring. So let's take a look. So the way that these piles are set up, this is past wisdom, present wisdom, and future wisdom. All of these energies and wisdoms you have access to innately, naturally. These are wisdoms that you can access easily. So I'm going to just shift these aside and we're going to take a look at your past wisdom first. So we have ripeness, celebrate your wins, and then we have shift. And I'm caught by the fact that we have a 9 here, 49 and 9. So you have 949 in reduction. So you have a mirroring number here. So in the past, there is this awareness that when we diminish our progress, when we diminish the shifts and the changes that we have made, when we say, you know, it's not a big deal, this and that. And guys, I'm no stranger to that. I'm no stranger to doing that. You know, there are people who look at me and they're like, you have published 9 books. And yeah, I've published 9 books. And to me, it's like, I'm not writing right now. So I have this tendency to diminish what I've done. But then I have moments where I step back and I'm like, holy crap, I've published 9 books. I've published 2 books that are 300 to 400 plus pages. And I published 7 books in a year. I just let so much flow through me. And it was such a magical time in my life that taking a rest is okay with me. And I started to celebrate my little moments of wins. I started to see the moments that were really successful. When I hit 1K subscribers, it was such an amazing thing. Every time I gain another 10 or I gain another, even just another 1 or 2, it just feels so successful to me because that means that I'm reaching that many more people. That means that I'm impacting that many more people. That means that that many more people know that they are loved, seen, heard, and understood in this world. So the wisdom that you have access to from the past is that when you look at the growth that you've had, when you look at the things that have come to fruition because you've put the time in, you've put the effort in, you have done the work, done the shifts, done the changes, and you choose to say, I'm going to celebrate this. And I don't care who says that I'm being egotistical. I don't care who says that I am whatever. I care that I put in my hard work, my blood, my sweat, my tears, my spiritual energy, my physical energy, my mental energy, my emotional energy. I put my all into this. And it came to fruition. It grew, it ripened, and I did that. Even if it's something like you planted a garden for the first time and everything bloomed for the first time ever. You brought those flowers to life. You took the seeds, you planted them, you tended the garden, you brought them to life. That is a win. That is a victory. Every time that you have a moment of anxiety and you go, my anxiety lies to me, and you overcome that, that is a win. That is a win for you to celebrate. And every time you do that, more and more, you are shifting your energy into your greatest potential. The past has taught you that diminishing this slows you down, slows the energy down. It actually creates blockages. And I'm not one that likes to talk about blockages just because I think that we are the ones that create it. I don't think the universe does it. We're the ones that create the blockages because the universe wants nothing more or less than our highest potential to be achieved and attained, because we work with the universe and we co-create with the universe, and everything that we do is some form of expression of beauty, of artistry, of love, of the universe, of spirit, and of ourselves. And so to diminish yourself, you create that blockage because you're saying, I'm not worthy. I'm not capable. It's not enough. I'm not enough. But all of that is a self-sabotage pattern. So in the past, when you haven't done those things, the shifts that you want to create and move beyond in your life have been slower, and that can get frustrating, and it becomes harder and harder to see how you brought things to fruition. And learning this lesson and celebrating yourself puts you back into that master teacher number, that master teacher energy, that spiritually aware, spiritually elevated energy where you know and you understand, and then you fight and move forward exactly as you're meant to. That's when the shifts happen. That's when your life becomes more ripe and fruitful. So let's take a look at your present wisdom. I'm just going to space these out now that we have a little bit more space. Your present wisdom is card number 2 with schizophrenia, creator water. I love that. I love that. And then friendship with card number 17. Okay. With schizophrenia, it doesn't actually mean that you're crazy. I need to give that disclaimer right away. Please know that that's not what this is about. What this card is about the figure who's literally become a bridge between two places. But it's the premise of the card is that you're meant to let go and fall into the clouds. You're meant to let go of these two things. When you're in the present moment, you're holding on to the past, you're trying to get to the future. But the thing is this figure, the head, is focused on the past energy rather than the future energy. So your present moment is helping you understand that, yes, there have been moments in which it has felt like the world is against you. Yes, it has been hard. Yes, there are things in your past that may still need to be evaluated, but keeping yourself stuck in between this place rather than choosing to befriend your own emotions, befriend your own creativity, and really dive into the waters of that. Let your emotions be what they are instead of being completely stuck in the mental realm. And when I say mental realm, I mean the mind, the realm of the mind, where you're operating out of your thoughts rather than your heart. It makes it really, really challenging. Now, another message coming through is that this pile in the present is learning how to let go of the pains of the past and the wounds of the past in order to trust in being more emotional in connections, in friendships. And I'm going to tell you guys very personally, this is something that I struggled with recently, where I had a lot of friendships that were really toxic, were really hard, were really painful. But I had to learn to let go of how those past relationships were, how those past friendships were, because they were creating more chaos for me to hold on to them. We're meant to experience certain things. We're meant to come into contact with certain people. It's just part of the journey. And it's really hard to hold on to that. And it's really hard to see that. But that is so true based off of my experience. It's so true to let those things go. It doesn't negate what happened. It just means that you're choosing something different for yourself. So in the present moment, where you might be caught up in your mind trying to hyper evaluate everything that's going on between you and another person, or between you and the universe, or you and yourself even, it's the wisdom available to you is that if you let go, if you trust and you let go, and you dive deep into the flow of life, the connections that you can forge with others, with the universe, with yourself, will be some of the most profound and impactful. Now let's take a look at your future wisdom. We have the Rebel. I love it. I love this. You are magic. Look at this. Oh my gosh. And then you guys actually got 2 cards. So we have New Life and Relief. Wow. Okay. In this way, what you have, when you release yourself, when you start celebrating yourself, when you release yourself and you step into this new life, the amount of relief that you'll feel in just going your own direction. I don't care who says what about me. I don't care who wants to put whatever chains around me. I'm gonna break away from that. Why? Because I am magic. I hold magic within myself, and I choose my own fulfillment. I choose the relief of the pains of the past. I choose the relief of knowing that I have moved beyond these things, and that it's possible to have true connections, that it's possible to feel this uplifting energy. It is possible for me to experience magic in my life, and for me to define the magic that exists within my life. It's possible for me to find my direction because I have my own internal spiritual compass. I know what I know. I have learned, I have grown, I have moved beyond. And even though this is a future wisdom, you guys have the energy that is capable of tapping into the past, the present, and the future, because you know that time is nothing more or less than a spiral. It's like a nautilus shell. So a nautilus shell keeps growing. Instead of being changed out, it keeps growing. And when one cycle is over, it closes off that chamber and grows a new one. And so this is about you recognizing that the past and the present and the future all exist at the same time. And so you have access to all these different routes of wisdom so that you can have your highest potential, your highest fulfillment, your highest path in destined life. And you're moving into this energy. You're called into this energy so that you can realize that by breaking free of the chains, and even just the chains that you bind to yourself, that you have bound to yourself from the past, from self-sabotage, from creating self-fulfilling prophecies based off of negative mindsets that weren't ever yours to begin with, or that you don't know necessarily how to change quite yet, or that you've been working really hard at and it feels very tiring, that you have the ability to tap into this future energy where there is relief from those things, because you realize loving yourself and supporting yourself and befriending yourself, that's a whole new journey. That's a whole new experience. It's a whole new everything. And it's so relieving to not be so hard on yourself all the time, to not look at yourself in the mirror and find the flaws, but look at yourself in the mirror and find the beauty, find the brilliance, find the incredible person that you are every single day. All right, let's get your final message. We're going to see which magical creature is calling to you. Okay, so we have Hylaeus. Hylaeus? I don't know. I'm going to move that up for you guys. And it says, Hylaeus was the centaur whose love for Atlanta was spurned when he pursued her. And when he pursued her, she killed him. Although another story tells how Hylaeus died in the battle of the centaurs against Hercules. So you may want to look this centaur's story up. But when our love is spurned, we can feel unworthy. We can feel unwelcome. We can feel as though I'll never be loved because of X, Y, and Z. But it doesn't have to be that way. And loving someone doesn't have to be something that is so destructive. Loving yourself isn't something that has to be so destructive. Centaurs are very magical creatures, and they have a very bloody mythological history. But they are up against all odds because they are hybrids, different, and not necessarily understood. Just because you're different doesn't mean that you're not worthy of love. All right, pile one, this is the message for you today with this reading. I hope that it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, my guides, and the Great Spirit for facilitating the connection between these energies, for flowing these messages forth, for connecting to the collective of pile one, and for allowing this message out into the collective to reach all those it is meant for. Thank you. Pile one, I love you guys so much. If this resonated, please support my channel. You can do that by liking the video, commenting in the comment section below. You can subscribe to my channel, and you can also check out the description box where there are links to donate to my channel. Any and all of these things are a great way to support this channel, help its growth, and help these messages reach who they are meant to. All right, my loves, this is what I have for you. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile two. If you chose the second card, the Lavender Aragonite, as well as the Crossroads rune, this is your message of wisdom for your fulfillment. Okay, pile two. So this is actually kind of unusual because the combination between the Lavender Aragonite as well as the Crossroads rune brought forth a different kind of message than I expected it to. So the Lavender Aragonite talks about environmental healing, grid work, energy work, things like that, but also your immediate surroundings. And the Crossroads rune usually talks about a lot of chaos, choices in direction, possible betrayals, things like that. But what I got was wisdom in how you can enhance your gifts and abilities in the sense of doing grid work, doing energy work, doing healing work. Wow, I haven't had this message come through for quite a while. If it does not resonate with you to do grid work and energy work, this is likely not your pile. You may want to go back and select a different pile, or perhaps this just isn't the reading for you, which is just fine. It's not a big deal. But it is just such a specific focused energy with this pile where it's like, so what I'm getting here is this energy feels a lot like you already had that direction. You already have known that you do this stuff. And even if it's not something that you do professionally, it's something that you do. For some of you, it's like sleep work that you do. So when you're asleep, you do some astral projection and astral traveling, and you do a lot of the grid work with that, or in a meditative state, you do a lot of that. And this kind of work can be hard to believe in when you start it. I know that I've done a lot of grid work myself, and I've seen where I've done grid work and then there have been like very visible changes in the sense of the grid work that I do and then collective energies afterwards. And I don't believe that I'm the only one doing it, of course, but it's hard to believe because there's really no tangibility to it. But this energy here, the wisdom, the number one wisdom that wants to come through is guidance on the different directions, the 4 primary directions, and how you can do grid work focused in those energies and directions, and a sense of trust yourself and what you're doing. That feels very, very important, is trust what you are doing, because what you're doing does truly matter. Even if no one else sees it, even if no one else knows it, as long as you see it and you know it and you believe in yourself, it is true. Sometimes we can get lost in what the rest of the world says, but this is different. This energy is different. Spirit really, really strongly, and especially your spirit guides and ancestors, really strongly want you to know, don't get lost in the forest. Don't get lost in the ways in which other people are telling you this is this and this is that. Trust your own intuition on this, because the work that you do matters. And even the work that you do in the sense of like your immediate surroundings, your immediate environment, your home, your job, your car, things like that, when you clean and cleanse those, it's like those become energetic cleansings for other things, for the collective, in the sense of feeling at home on earth, or the collective in the sense of feeling as though they have a place to go, or a means of traveling to where they need to go, or they have success in the working world and they have that confidence and protection and cleansing energy to keep them going in whatever it is that they do in the world. This is a very, very unique energy. I really love it. I'm not going to lie. I love it so much because this is so different. And I love when the messages that I do come through in such specific ways for each individual pile, because it becomes a much more directed energy and a much more directed message. So we have north and south, east and west here. So I'm going to start with east. And one of the messages I got in Montana when we were, my friend Rachel and I were driving in Montana on the Crow Reservation, and we were trying to find Crater Lake that was out on the reservation. Not the Crater Lake we were actually looking for, but that's a story for another time. It was really funny. But I got this message about east, the east for new beginnings. East for new beginnings, which means that we'll look at this first as a new beginning journey, and then this is just the progression through of that beginning, and we're going to go clockwise through it. So for east, we have, yes, breakthrough, shift, the way to new potential. Oh my gosh, we have 2 11s, because this is 29, which reduces to 11, and the breakthrough card is the number 11. And then we have shift again. Holy crap, you guys! Like I can't even make this stuff up. Like when these cards come out, I shuffle and I set the intention. This is what it's going to do, and I was hesitant to change the structure of this reading to being the four directions, even though that was really strongly what was called for. And I said, okay, if it's meant to be the 4 directions, the first 4 cards that I pull, or the first cards that I pull, 4 will come out. And sure enough, 4 came out. And these cards were so definitive, so absolute when they came out. This is about you breaking beyond the barrier of the shift that you want. It's recognizing that we can shift ourselves by having these breakthroughs, by having these moments of, aha, oh yeah, okay, this makes sense. So this energy here, it's telling you the wisdom that you have is you know how to break through into shifting the energy, shifting it into a higher state, a higher timeline, a higher energy, a higher awareness. You have that wisdom within you. That wisdom comes from taking that leadership role within your life. It comes from recognizing when it's time to end a cycle and when it's time to break through to the next one. and breaking through. I'm actually, it's so funny. I love when these visions come in. I'm sorry, guys. I'm literally seeing like the Kool-Aid man, like jumping through a wall and going, oh yeah. So that's literally what I'm seeing. It's like you are jumping through and you're like, hey, check me out. Check this out. This new beginning is all about breaking through any kind of bounds. And especially when the first message was about trusting yourself. When you trust yourself about the fact that you can actually create these shifts with the gifts that you have, when you break that barrier, that mentality of doubt, of hesitancy, you break through, and the shift that happens. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh because I'm still seeing the Kool-Aid man with this big, huge smile. Okay. Anyway, when you do this, you change not only your path, but you help shift the collective. You have a great power within you. And it's not one that feels super heavy. That's the best part, because this feels like a just like side project. Like, yeah, I'm just going to do this side project. So what I want to do is, as we go through the different directions, we're going to build upon this. So I'm going to just put the cards on top of each other so we can grow this breakthrough and this shift of energy and awareness through the wisdom being shared. So now we are going to move on to the south. So at the south, we have slowing down, befriend the word polarize, and nature spirits. And I love this because we have a 7 and then we have a 3, which is the reflection of the lavender aragonite. So there is an energy here of making that shift, breaking through, but then taking a moment to pause, taking a moment to slow down, taking a moment to notice how nature is speaking. Notice how nature is teaching. Notice how nature is growing so that we can grow. And when we look at the befriend the word polarize, this is asking us to realize within ourselves that we have polarities within, that we can have a breakthrough and then a slowdown, that we can go fast and slow simultaneously, that we can both live and die simultaneously, just like the nature spirits or the trees. They can be alive, but their leaves are falling down. So the tree itself is not dead, but the leaves are changing because the seasons are changing and the tree is getting ready for newness. And so those transitional moments are actually polarized moments. When we go through the fall season and we see the leaves changing colors and falling from the tree is both alive and dead at the same time. It is neither both and neither. And it's not either one either. It's like it is both and. So we don't do a separation. It's not either or, it's both and. And this is asking you to take that energy and that awareness and say, okay, we can slow down so that we can recognize the lessons of the world, so that we can recognize that there are extremes, there are polar opposites, there are this and that. Things are incapable of being both and. So we can look at the environment and say, okay, I need this for the environment, but I also need this for the environment. So I need trees to grow in order for oxygen to be abundant in the world. But I also need trees to be cut down in order to have warmth and fire. So both and, you need them both to grow, but also to be cut down. And understanding that and respecting that and honoring that, and then doing the work to take that time to slow down and see these things, that's going to help these shifts occur even greater. They're going to help these shifts occur in a more holistic way, because we're seeing all of what the truth is, the potential is, the wisdom is. We're seeing all of it from that point. And when we have this slow down energy, when we think about, for me, when I think about the South, I think about the element of earth. And I know that my elemental associations are not the same as what traditional elemental associations are. But when I think about earth, I think about us coming down to earth. I think about the descent into the world from the roots of the trees, and how when we look at Southern energy, it's this grounding, this foundation, this stronghold energy of the earth. And so sometimes we are asked to look at different things, to realize different things, and to allow these different things to kind of shift how we view things. Sometimes when we want to rush forward, we're asked to slow down, and it can seem like we're doing the exact opposite of what we should be doing. But in slowing down, in taking that time to recognize all of the differences and all of the changes and all of the polarities that are in existence, in taking that time to learn from nature spirits and Mother Nature, in taking that time to experience these things, you're actually shifting higher and faster, because you're recognizing that you can be in that polarity energy so the universe can take care of the opposite. Wow. Okay. I am so here for this message. Let's look at the West. All right. We have the outsider. We have creator air. Oh my gosh. And we have psychic. I say, oh my gosh, guys, because like I said, my elemental associations are different. So West for me is air. So this energy here is about helping others and helping yourself to shift the mentality of being on the outside, of not belonging because of a psychic gift, because of all your psychic gifts. When you're a grid worker, when you're an energy healer of this earth, of the energies of this earth, which are correlated with the energies in the sky, which are correlated with the energies of spirit and of things and places that we can't fathom fully, we can feel like we are on the outside. We're working with the element of air, and we're allowing for messages to flow through from different energies, like the gusting of the wind. We can feel like we are outcasts in society, even in this day and age where psychic gifts are so widely accepted. We can still feel that energy of being on the outside. But the more that you heal yourself, and the more that you maintain your environment, and the more that you do your work, the more that you realize that you're never on the outside, because the outside is the inside and the inside is the outside. And so you may feel like you are different. And yes, you are, in a way, in your own unique way. You are different, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It means that you have this ability to use your psychic gifts and to create using airwaves and frequencies and things of that nature that some people just simply don't fully comprehend and don't fully understand. But it doesn't mean that you're wrong or bad. It means that you have the ability to show people what community and home and love and acceptance looks like based off of all of these experiences. And when we think about air, air can create a tornado. It can create a hurricane. It can create destruction, or it can create clarity. A strong gust of wind can blow smoke in and create a haze, or it can clear the smoke out. It's up to us how we choose to use our own creative air energy. And you have this deep psychic gift of recognizing how to do this and how to kind of use that outsider energy and that new beginning of a breakthrough to really break through the gate that you perceive yourself to be locked behind. And when you do this for yourself, When you shift this perspective for yourself, you're also helping shift it for the collective. Even if you're not interacting with the collective as you're doing the shift or after you're doing the shift, you're still helping the collective because we are all connected. Let's take a look at the North. And just because I feel called to, I associate the North with water because I think about water falling from the sky and how when it comes down, it cleanses, it hydrates, it nourishes. I always think about it that way. We have maturity, ambush fear with your ferocious dream, and finally friendship. Oh, okay. So pile 2. When you go through this cycle, when you engage in this breakthrough and this shift and you recognize all of these things and you come to a greater level of awareness and greater level of understanding, what happens from there is that you approach interactions and connections with a more mature energy, one that is unrivaled and unmatched by others or by your past self even. Whatever dream you have, the universe wants to help you. This friendship card just speaks so highly of community, of connections, especially connections with the universe itself, but also with yourself and with your dreams. Sometimes we don't realize that the greatest shifts that we make are by befriending the things that we want, that we desire, that we love, moving forward in an energy where you have come to an understanding about all of these things. And you say, you know what? I have this dream and I have this vision and I have this goal and I am going to make this work. Why? Because I'm shifting into my greatest potential. I am recognizing that there are oppositional energies. I'm recognizing when I need to move and when I need to slow down. I'm recognizing if I feel like an outsider because of certain things and how I can overcome that mentality. And I am allowing myself to mature into a more whole part of me, person or version of myself. I'm befriending myself. And because of that, when I go forward to create my dreams, I know that I don't have to fear those that come in because they're going to come in and meet me at my level. They're going to come in and have the same friendship with themselves so that they love themselves and they don't seek to harm others because they don't understand the concept of self-love. Wow, pile 2. I want to be your friend. Let's get a final message. Let's see which magical creature is calling to you. Okay, so we have Sarah. Move that up. I know my voice just got really distant. I apologize. Okay, it says in medieval European lore, the Sarah is a winged sea monster. It has the head of a lion and the body and tail of a fish and the wings of a bat. It was thought to chase ships, although most often it would just fold its wings and disappear upon the waters again. In Anglo-Saxon bestiaries, the Sarah is said to be symbolic of all who renege on their good intentions by becoming distracted by frivolous amusements. So if you guys want to look up any of that mythology or lore with that creature, I strongly encourage it. But what I'm getting from this is that breakthrough energy is recognizing that we transform ourselves when we allow fear in, when we allow our doubts in. We transform ourselves into something that isn't true. Just like the message about you'll be met with people who have zero intention of harming you or hurting you or anything like that because they have learned to love themselves. When any one of us chooses to turn our backs on our dreams, we choose to create a version of ourselves that aren't true. And other people may see that version and be afraid But the truth is, you're just trying to find your way. You're just trying to navigate the waters to find your way. And that's where this crossroads energy comes in as its more natural form rather than grid work. It's finding your way, choosing a direction, choosing a purpose, choosing a path, choosing your dreams, choosing yourself, choosing to grow and to see that you are never on the outside. You are always welcomed. You are always loved. You are always accepted. And I know that can be hard. I do. I genuinely do, because I've been through the mill on that stuff. But I want you to know it is possible, and it is for you to experience if you so choose. Okay, my loves, pile 2, this is what I have for you. I want to say thank you so much for being here. You guys are freaking amazing. I am so impressed by you guys. I'm so impressed by this energy. And I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, my guides, and the Great Spirit for facilitating the connection and allowing these messages to flow through, and for really shaping this reading to be for pile 2s and the collective of pile 2s so that it can reach those that it is meant for on a deep, personal, emotional level and help them grow, change, and find their own fulfillment. Thank you so much. Pile 2, if this resonated, I would really appreciate you guys supporting this channel. You can do that by liking the video, commenting in the comment section below. You can also subscribe to the subscribe to my channel. I just my whole tongue just got all tangled up. You can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you go to the description box, there are links to donate to my channel if you are feeling called to. Any and all of these things help support my channel, help get these messages out to the collective that they are meant to, and it really does help grow our community. And it's truly, truly appreciated. So with all that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the 3rd rune and card, the rings rune, as well as the card Mukite Jasper, this is your message of wisdom for your fulfillment. The combination of the rings rune with Mukite Jasper, the first thing is that the number 3 is very prevalent within your energy right now. Mukite Jasper is the number 3 card. You have 3 rings on the rings rune. You are pile 3. And with this energy, there is an awareness of 3 parts, or rather 2 parts, coming into the whole, into union with each other. The Mukite Jasper talks about how your soul is an ancient soul. It has walked many paths, and in that way, you are, in essence, the reincarnation of your own ancestors. You are an ancestor in a physical form. And this talks a lot about coming together with different parts of you, recognizing your own strength and your own grounding ability, but also this innate gift to quite literally dream your life into reality. Whether or not you have tapped into this gift, I am here to tell you, I have literally witnessed someone with this gift in real time, where a decision gets made and it is a firm, structured decision. And once that has been made, the whole of the universe rearranges because there is such confidence and assurance that this is what is going to happen, and it does. Sometimes we go through things in life and there's a structure of doubt that gets laid into our foundation. But that structure of doubt it's like an uneven piece of the foundation, something that you can lift out. We have to be able to seek, to search, to find that piece in order to remove it, in order to take it out of the foundation and to replace that with confidence, because confidence is steady, strong, stable. Confidence within our foundation negates the doubt. So we remove the uneven stone and we replace it with one that fits exactly perfectly. This energy that you guys are being brought to a point of wisdom on is the fact that there's two pieces that are coming together into union right now within you. And at the foundation, it's because a stone of confidence has finally been laid down. So the way that these piles work is this first pile here is your soul or higher self, however you want to perceive it. You trust your own intuition on it. This pile on this side is your physical self. And this pile in the middle represents the union of these two things in this lifetime. So we're going to take a look at this side first. I'm just going to shift these off. So let's take a look at your soul or higher self. We have intensity. Bravely market your magic with the number 39, which reduces down to a 3. And then we have the divine feminine. And again, we have 3 pieces. And if you move these 2 moons together, you'll get a whole moon with a circle in the middle. You'll get that awareness of the piece. So this is about you, your higher self coming into fruition, coming to you to come into harmony or come into union in the sense of receptivity to really putting yourself out there, really allowing yourself to confidently and intensely market what you have to offer here in the world. Now, this can be a scary thing for those of you who resonate with having doubt as an inlaid point of your foundation. And this is because to bravely market your own magic, to bravely go out into the world and say, this is who I am, this is what I have to offer, this is what I am presenting to you, and to know definitively that as you do that, the customers will come, the viewers will come, the subscribers will come, the followers will come, the people that are meant to benefit from what you have to offer will be there, means that doubt inevitably has to be replaced. And your higher self or your soul, I kind of see them as the same thing personally, are coming through to say, this is what I'm bringing forth. This is what I am beckoning you to accept into union with yourself. This part exists within me and therefore exists within you if you choose to accept it. And when we come into a harmony or a union within ourselves, the ultimate truth, we'll say, is that it has to be accepted. We have to choose this. It doesn't mean that we are separate from our higher selves or separate from our souls, but in order to work and flow together with that part of ourselves, we have to accept the union within of that. And a lot of people talk about union with the divine. Our higher selves or our souls really are divine energies. It is the part of divinity that we carry within that is a piece gifted to us, created by the divine creator, so that we can remain in a divine essence, even when we are walking this physical existence, even when we are navigating a world in which we don't necessarily always see ourselves as divine, and we don't always operate on divinity, on the frequency of divinity. But when we choose to come together, that's a choice to say, I accept my gifts bravely, courageously. I accept my gifts totally. I accept my gifts in every manner and facet in which they come forth. And I am willing to embrace this other aspect of me, this higher aspect of me, and allow it to really hold me and push me forward and bring me into a union internally. Now, when we have the intensity card combined with the divine feminine card, this is a masculine and a feminine energy coming together. So your higher self or your soul is saying here that you have both these energies within, they are ready to be blended together so that you can navigate this physical existence with those two in harmony. So your divine essence already holds these two in an equality, in a balance, in a harmony, and it wants to reach to you and help teach you, help guide you, help you become more enlightened internally to how these energies work within you and how they can benefit you in the physical world. So let's take a look at your physical essence right now. We have schizophrenia. You are light, 56, which reduces to an 11. And then this is a 2, and usually you wouldn't reduce an 11, but if you would, it would go down to 2. And then good fortune with 13, which is also another divine feminine energy, numerologically speaking. So right now where you're at, especially with the schizophrenia card, there is an energy of toggling back and forth. Am I light? Am I dark? Am I good? Am I bad? Is this right? Is this wrong? So as that schizophrenia energy, which this card doesn't actually mean schizophrenia itself, it means a split mind. It means a mind that is toggling back and forth, going between extremes, going between polarities, going between options, going to the past, to the future, and not focusing on the here and now, not focusing on the present, because the here and now is that you are light and that you are in a state of good fortune. But when our mind and our body are telling us two different things, we can feel that discord or that dissonance between those energies in a physical way, in an emotional way, in a mental way, and in a spiritual way. We can feel the hesitancy to step into that confidence that you have. So your higher self wants you to really, really step into your magic, step into your light, step into your good fortune. But your mind has to get on board, and your mind can create illusions based off of fear and doubt and worry, based off of uncertainty. And in the day and age that we live in, uncertainty is a common energy to engage with. There is so much within this world right now on a physical level that is ridiculously uncertain, so that people who really want that firm grounding of this is exactly what I can be assured of struggle because there isn't that there. And it comes down to accepting or learning how to assimilate to that energy while carrying its oppositional energy, carrying confidence that it doesn't matter if this whole world is uncertain. What is certain is that I have the ability to create my dream life. I have the ability to work my own unique brand of magic. I have the ability to embody and embrace the light that I am, to create good fortune in my life and in the world. And I can do that regardless of what the outside world is undergoing, because my truth is that I am confident in everything that I am doing. I am confident in everything that I have to offer. And so there's that discord there where your higher self is like, let's go, 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 go. I'm ready. Let's go. All you have to do is accept this. And your physical energy right now is mostly on board, but there's just that one little piece. And with this schizophrenia card, you've got that person who is dangling between two options over top of the clouds. And if I'm being brought to the Fool card in the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, where with the Fool card, he's leaping off a cliff, super happy to do it, super excited, no care in the world. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to jump off this cliff. All I can see are the clouds, but I'm going to leap because I trust that there is a net under there. I trust that there is a soft landing because I trust in the universe, in the path, in the purpose of going through this journey, this change, this transformation. And that level of confidence, that blind confidence, we can see as very foolish, or we can see as incredibly brave. And it depends upon which perspective you want to apply to it. But this in regards to you is, are you willing to see yourself as brave? Are you willing to see yourself as courageous? Are you willing to embrace the totality of confidence within your entire being and say, I trust 100% that what I envision will be. And because I trust this, because I can see this, this is what it shall be. And then let go of the two pieces that you're holding on to, let go of those things and leap into the middle, leap into that union. That's what the challenge is will you leap into the union? Will you embrace and accept all of this within yourself? So let's take a look at the cards that represent the union. We have control. In flow with money. And we have transformation. In accepting this union, you move out of a state of being controlled by the financial world, being controlled by the material world, being controlled by the physical world, and instead you leap into a flow state. You transform the ways in which you perceive yourself in terms of the world and the ways that you perceive financial abundance, physical abundance, spiritual abundance, in order to really come forth and say, okay, to be in the flow of money means I'm in the flow of myself. It means that I trust that what I have to offer to the world is what is meant to be. Now, Mookaite Jasper is a really great stone for business. It really is. So is the Rings rune. It represents really committing to a certain path, a certain financial goal, a certain business opportunity, really choosing to commit to it, choosing to trust in it because it's what feels right to you. It's what you feel is calling to you. To come into union means that the control factor that you have is in determining the flow state that you're in, determining the change that you're going to go through, and then meeting and greeting the world with that confidence that is beckoning to you. So if you want fulfillment, the first step is define what fulfillment looks like for you. Put it down on paper, visualize it. What does it look like? Is this financial fulfillment that you're seeking? And if it is, then what do you need to have confidence on? What is it within your financial realm that you are struggling with having confidence on? Is it that you don't think the world is ready for your magic? Is it that you don't think anybody will hear you or be interested? Or is it simply that you are struggling with feeling worthy, feeling like if I do this, it's not going to blow up in my face because the financial climate in the world is suffering under the weight of inflation and war costs and this and that. And there's just not enough to go around because that mentality is a lack mentality. And I know it can be annoying hearing people talk about lack mentality, but when we talk about it, we're not trying to make you feel guilty or bad or frustrated because of it. Talking about lack mentality helps you understand that there is an abundance of people out in the world that understand that lack mentality is a real thing and it's a real struggle and it takes real guts and balls to really fight it, overcome it, move beyond it. It takes a lot of confidence and bravery to say, I'm not going to live in a state of lack mentality. I'm not going to allow myself to have victim mentality. I'm going to see how truly magical I am. I'm going to see how much light I shine and share with the world. So my mind is not going to be encumbered by whatever the news says or the financial world says, or even what Susie says a lot down the streets is, running her mouth about. And if your name is Susie, I'm sorry, it's just what comes through. But you don't have to be controlled by those things. You can instead control the impact upon you by structuring your mentality to be of light, to trust, to be confident. And that gifts you a massive internal and then by proxy, external transformation. So this union that is trying to come in between your higher self or soul and yourself, your physical world, your physical self, is going to transform your life. How you go about going into this union, that's going to be unique to each one of you. Some of you may want to do a meditation to come into union. Some of you may simply want to sit down and write, or sit and let yourself be guided. And the second that you feel like, I should do this, you go and do it without questioning it. You don't think about what it's going to take. You don't think about what other people are going to think. You don't take into consideration any kind of reactionary energy from anything outside of yourself and from spirit. You only think about what you're feeling in that moment, what you're being called to in that moment, and then you do it. And in doing so, what you're doing is you're building the blocks to that union so that you are helping pull out that uneven foundational stone of doubt and replacing it with a smooth, level stone of confidence, one step at a time. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than one step at a time, but it's up to you to choose. This is about you choosing, you committing to something that is right for you, you committing to yourself, you committing to this path, whatever the path is, but being very confident in it, recognizing that lack mentality takes overcoming. And to overcome, like I say to my kids all the time, repetition is the key to learning. So you repeat it over and over. You do things that you normally would second guess, and you stop second guessing and you just do them so that you know with confidence when it all ends up in a massive transformation that you were doing what was right for you and you were right. All right, pile 3, let's get your final bibliomancy with the Element Encyclopedia of Magical Creatures. Let's see which magical creature is calling out to you. Okay, we have Hugin, which stands for thought. Hugin is one of the ravens that accompany Odin, his brother Munin, or memory. They sit on Odin's shoulders and whisper all the news that they gather from their flights about the world. He sends them out in the morning and they return by breakfast of the next day. Ravens are incredibly wise creatures. They are incredibly insightful creatures. Hugin and Munin, they were the eyes and the ears of Odin, so that Odin was always informed. Think of your higher self and your soul as Hugin and Munin. They're helping you to remember bits and pieces of your ancestral wisdom. They're helping you to remember the parts of you that are pure and whole and true to you. Some of you may want to look up the mythology of Odin. You can try the prose Edda or the poetic Edda. Those are both great resources. I know that Neil Gaiman has a book called Norse Mythology. That is also a really great resource for just reading and diving into that. But Odin is a very powerful, powerful energy to work with. And working with that powerful energy, that is that intensity card. That is that assurance of my thoughts are my thoughts. And being informed about what other people are saying is a benefit because it will help trigger your memory of where the doubt has existed so that you can choose a different path. You can choose a different action or reaction and change, transform. All right, pile 3, this is the message that I have for you. I truly hope it helped. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, to my guides, and the Great Spirit for connecting these energies, for facilitating the messages to come through, for reaching all those within the collective spread wide and far for pile 3. Thank you. Pile 3, if this resonated, You can support my channel and this reading by liking the video, commenting in the comment section below, subscribing to my channel, and you can also support my channel by going to the description box and clicking on one of the links to donate to my channel if you feel called. Oh, I needed to yawn for a minute. With all that being said, pile 3, I'm going to leave you here. I love you all so, so much. Thank you again for being here and being you and continuing to move forward. And I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 4. If you chose the 4th card, the Charoite, which is the card number 50, as well as the rune of the sun, this is your message of wisdom for your fulfillment. Charoite is a stone of healing. It's a stone of coming back to the present moment, but also of past life regression, healing of karmic wounds, traumatic wounds, painful wounds in any way, shape, or form. But it's about as well having the space to heal and having the space to elevate to a new vibration, a new frequency. And we talk about that a lot in the spiritual realm. And I'm getting this question of what does that even mean? First of all, each spiritual person is going to define it in their own way. When we talk about our own vibrations and our own frequency, on a metaphysical level, each and every person is made up of nothing more or less than energy, energetic cells that are vibrating at a very rapid pace in order to create a physical form. On another note, it simply means that you are operating out of an awareness that is higher than that in which you were prior. That means that you understand more, you see more, you have more compassion, more grace, more empathy, but you also have access to higher levels of wisdom that this world oftentimes forgets is in existence. With the sun, I can't help but think about the Schumann resonance and the frequency of the earth. And the earth is supposed to vibrate at a frequency of 7.83 hertz. However, there are times where the Schumann resonance elevates higher. In fact, at the time of me filming this, we're about a little less than 12 hours outside of the last spike, which went up to 31 hertz. This summer, we had an anomaly of several, at least 2 days, if not more, of the vibration really moving in a very unique pattern at a very, very high frequency. When we shift frequencies, when we shift vibrations, we are shifting energy. We are shifting our own internal energy and our external energy simultaneously. Though the external energy tends to move slower than what we experience within, it still is moving and changing. And this goes back to the law of thermodynamics, I believe it is, which is energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred or transformed. So when we think about changing our vibration or our frequency, we're not destroying anything. And we're not really creating anything. We are transforming what is into something even greater, even grander, even more aware, even more pure, more beautiful. When we have wounds that we are carrying with us, and in particular for this pile, it is wounds of the self, wounds of the divine masculine, wounds of the action that you take out in the world, wounds of how you are perceived by the world, but also how you perceive yourself in terms of you in relation to the world, which brings me automatically to, you might want to look at your natal chart and find out what your rising sign is and what that means for you. Remember to be discerning when you do any kind of astrological research, for everything is quite biased and done based off of the interpretation that is a combination of both experiential wisdom as well as a lot of written knowledge. So make sure that you don't take anything as your absolute truth unless you know within yourself that it is an absolute truth of your existence, for we are all constantly changing. We are all constantly growing. When we go through this life, when we have a wound that has to do with who we are, just who we are. And we think that the world can't accept us and the world can't see us or won't accept us. It can be really, really difficult to figure out where to even begin to heal. Because how do I heal my entire self? How do I make myself more palatable for humanity? How do I make myself more acceptable, more accepting, more lovable, more worthy? In doing, having and carrying that wound, there is a kind of blind spot to the truth of the fact that you don't have to do anything to be worthy. You don't have to strive and be super successful. You don't have to be a multimillionaire. You don't have to do this or that. You simply have to be the best version of yourself at any given point in time. And that makes you worthy. It makes you worthy of being seen. It makes you worthy of being heard. It makes you worthy of being loved. It makes you worthy of the universe. And every moment that you choose to accept the fact that you are innately worthy is a moment in which you come back to yourself, back to your center, and you say, okay, yes, other people have these behaviors, these actions, these reactions, they project onto me, or they respond in a certain way, but does that mean that it's because of me? And why do I always put it on my shoulders? And when you start asking yourself the really tough questions, the really hard ones, and you realize, you know what, they're literally doing the best that they can right now. How can I change my perception, my reaction, my wound? How can I heal this so that I can have more compassion, but also establish firm boundaries and be comfortable and feel safe enough to shine myself into the world? These are hard questions to ask. They are hard questions to be honest with yourself about, but they are the key. They are the key. So we have 3 piles here. This first one is going to dive into the energy of the most common current wound pattern for this collective. And then we're going to have 2 paths of healing. Neither is right, neither is wrong. They're just 2 possible opportunities, possible pathways, possible awarenesses. These are not in any way, shape, and form the only 2 that there are, but they are ones that your guides wish for you to be aware of today. So I'm going to set aside the 2 pathways of healing, and let's take a look at the current wound pattern. Okay, so we have schizophrenia, and this is actually currently, this is a massive collective energy because this card has come up for almost every single pile. And then we have move beyond intention to belief and nature spirits. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's a key. I literally said that's the key. Okay. So I want to address the schizophrenia card first and foremost. And one thing that I want to make sure that everybody who watches any of these piles that have gotten this card knows is that this card does not mean that you are crazy. And it does not mean that you have schizophrenia. And if you are diagnosed with schizophrenia and watching this, this doesn't mean that you are excluded either. Like, not anything like that. The card itself, the energy itself, does not mean schizophrenia. It means being torn in 2. It's represented by the 2 of clouds. And I wasn't going to read this like tarot, but this one particular time, it is coming in like tarot. It's coming through like the 2 of swords. You have a decision to make, but you feel blindfolded and you're blocking yourself off from it. But in this case, you know you have a decision to make. You know what the decision is. You know what to do. You have to leap. You have to let go of the 2 parts and let yourself go and dive into these clouds. You need to let yourself go. But in order to do that, you have to be very firm in, this is what I want for my life. This is what I believe for myself. And so right now, the wound pattern is an indecision because to decide to embrace all of yourself means that you're going to likely go against people who just simply don't believe. And I'm telling you guys, like I have been I've been attacked online before because I talked on my old channel that doesn't exist anymore, and the videos don't even exist anymore. I talked about blind faith, about what it means to have blind faith. And that opened me up for so much hate. So much hate. Because people don't like the concept or ideation of blind faith. Why? Because we don't like to relinquish control, because we don't like to try and fathom something that isn't tangible. When we're talking about these nature spirits, this is like belief and faith in things that you cannot see, things you cannot experience. It's belief and faith that this world is created in a different kind of way, and everything has a soul and has an essence. And that means that everything is worthy. And if that is the case, if that is the belief, then so too are you. And that challenges so much when we have had so much coming against us. It challenges us to say, okay, I have the intention of doing this or being this way or believing this, but you have to leap into the belief. You have to let go of both sides and jump down into the clouds. That's what blind faith is. That is what moving beyond intention to belief is. It's taking that action step to say, you know what? I understand I'm leaping into the unknown. I understand that the next step that I take is going to require me to just simply believe it will all work out for the best. And then to do that and to say, I believe that there are spirits all around me. I believe that there are entities and energies that I can't see, I can't taste, I can't touch, I can't hear. I mean, some of us can hear because we've got clairaudience, but you know what I mean? My physical senses cannot engage with. I understand that those things that I hold to be concrete, evidentiary things don't exist, but that does not mean that they don't exist. It does not mean that because there is no tangibility that it does not exist. I choose my belief. I choose my blind faith. I choose to engage in this. But the wound is that choosing to move beyond your intention into belief means that you are going to move into the manifestation. And that means that you have to stand really firm and really true to what it is that you have the intention of creating or manifesting into your life. Because when we move into indecision, when we vacillate and we make a decision where I'm going to do this, I'm going to heal this, I'm going to be this way, I'm going to shine myself this way. And then we say, oh my God, I'm too scared. Or, oh my God, what if this? Or what if that? What we're doing is we're creating entanglements with halt energy where the universe is like, well, if you're not sure and you don't believe in it, then it doesn't believe in you. It is a symbiotic relationship. So you have to make that decision. And the wound is a fear surrounding how everyone else is going to react and perceive it. But that doesn't mean that it isn't right for you. We live in a day and an age where there are so many people out here preaching about personal power, self-empowerment, self-healing, all of these things. We live in a highly spiritual time in our lives in humanity's course. But it is also a time in which all of those people engaging in all of that have to realize that for centuries, all of these things that we are now living in a day and an age where it is more prevalent, all of these things were literally reasons to be killed by a governmental entity, by a religious entity. Whatever it is, it was a reason. So yes, that ingrained fear can create vacillation, and it is understandable. Guys, I grew up in a Christian home. The hellfire fear is seriously real. It is a serious fear that is ingrained into my brain, my energy. It is a very serious thing. I have moments still where that fear will pop up and I'll go, holy shit, I'm reading tarot cards and my faith from my childhood taught me that this meant that I am engaging with the devil, and I have to work hard at taking myself out of the vacillation of I'm doing wrong to what I am doing is a God-given gift. It is a spiritual gift. And that means that I am helping people. I am helping people. And that is not something that the devil, quote unquote devil, does. It takes time. This wound pattern takes time. It takes time to say, I'm going to dive into this. It takes time to commit to that. It takes time to believe in it because we have all these collective ingrained fears. Even if you didn't grow up religious, you still had the collective ingrained fears because the collective unconscious is a energetic field that exists within all of us. I think I could probably go on about this, about this wound pattern and how it presents and all of that until I'm blue in the face, but I want to start looking at the pathways of healing. So the first one is adventure. It's like an inner child adventure. On that note, some of you guys may want to check out my inner child messages. It is a Reiki video and it came out on Tuesday. So you guys might want to check that out. That might have a message in there for you. The card number 54 with fall in love with your own story. And then death, card 36. So we've got 2 9s here. This is about you realizing that every transformation, every choice that we make, every new beginning, every leap from the intention of something to believing, to knowing, to trusting, and to manifesting it involves going on a grand adventure. And yeah, there are adventures that involve really painful things. You guys have a lot of red energy. This is about the loss of something that really struck you down to your core. And I'm no stranger to that either. When my grandma died, it was like when someone that you love that is a constant in your life dies, there is a moment in your life where you wake up and you say, I don't recognize the world. Everybody is going on with their life and that just doesn't make sense to me. I just cannot fathom that because a major part of my world has ended and I don't know how other people can keep going. I don't understand. And you want to reach out to that person and the ways in which you communicate with them have changed dramatically because now it's purely based in your faith in yourself and your gifts. It's not an easy thing, but I am telling you, every loss, every change, every transition, whether it is a physical, literal death or whether it is a metaphorical, spiritual death, is a new adventure. And every time that we go through something that is hard, we have the opportunity to either look at our story and say, this is awful and I cannot stand that, or say, you know what? No matter how hard it is, I love my story. It may be dark, it may be twisty, it may be challenging, it may elicit pain and anguish, but it's also filled with overcoming and strength and light. It may have been the biggest challenge of my life, but it was the greatest adventure too. And let me tell you what I learned. Let me show you how I grew. Let me shine myself forward and show you just how much something like this that changes you can grow you. Let me show you what an adventure this life really is so that when your time comes at the end of it, you can walk out of your existence in the physical world going, hell yeah, I lived my life to the hilt. I played my role. I did my job. I did this. I did that. I was my best, most awesome self. That mentality is how you move forward with the utmost faith in everything that you do. And manifestation, shit, that comes like snapping your fingers. That comes like breathing. It flows like water because you just simply know. And so it happens. Wow, this is a powerful, powerful healing path. Let's take a look at the other one. Oh my God, we have the source. Ambush fear with your ferocious dream and knowledge. You know, they say knowledge is power, and it is when we allow knowledge to turn into wisdom. If you feel like, I want to do this, and this is what I see for myself. This is what I perceive for myself. This is my dream. This is my goal. I know I can do this. And then you have that vacillation of, oh shit, what about this? What about that? Go back to source. Go back to the origin point of that feeling and realize that fear is weaving some story within you that you won't be accepted. Now is the point where I tell you guys, even though I grew up in a very Christian home, my grandmother was very gifted, and my aunt is very gifted, and my brother is very gifted. We come from an incredibly gifted family that has long since been running from their gifts because of an organized religion. And having this knowledge that I'm not the black sheep. I am simply the one who stepped into the light, who accepted this, and I am better for it, and my family is better for it. Doing that freed me so much. That is why when I came back to filming, I came back the way that I have, because I know that even though what I'm doing challenges my conditioned, ingrained belief system since I was a child, I also know that I make my mom proud, that I make my aunt proud, that I made my grandma proud, that I am fulfilling the destiny of my family. That knowledge has gifted me with limitless wisdom to share with the world, because it means that you, Pile 4, belong. It means that you belong in all the ways that you are afraid to shine. It means that you belong. If you have ever or still ever feel like there is not a place for you in this world, this community, this channel is your place. This is your home. This is where you belong. And it's hard. It's hard to trust in the unseen. It's hard to trust in the unknown because you can't know it, because you can't see it. But when you open your heart to it, the amount of love that pours in is, there is no equivalent. There is no way of quantifying it. And it needs no qualification. Oh, Pile 4. I don't know if some of you are crying, but I just I haven't felt this way in an energy reading in such a long time. And I want you guys to feel like, put your arms around yourselves and feel me hugging you, because I am sending you the biggest hug. Oh, I did not expect that from this reading. Okay, let's get your final message. We're going to find out which magical creature wants to reach out to you. Okay. We have Tao Tayef. I'm probably saying it wrong. It says, the most notable feature of this creature, which is found in the traditions of China, is its enormous head, cavernous mouth, and serried rows of dagger-like teeth. Not surprisingly, its name can be translated as glutton, and its appetite is legendary. It can take several different forms, including that of a human being and a tiger. But whatever creature the head represents also dictates the body under it. Thus, a Tao tithe with the head of an animal has the 4 parts of that animal. But in each case, it has 2 hind parts and 2 stomachs. Sometimes it is painted on the inside of dishes to warn diners of the effects of overindulgence. I'm not even going to try and discern that a whole lot, but I want you guys to know the number one thing that I got from that message, and you guys might want to look deeper into it to see how it resonates for you, is that when your mind gets on board with something, your whole being gets on board with it. Your whole being. And with the 2 stomachs and the 2 hind parts, that is your divine masculine and your divine feminine. That is both core archetypal energies within you that make up you. They both get on board. So if you are torn between the 2 and you keep vacillating back and forth, you're going to be a split. It's going to be split. But when you decide, the whole of you gets in, and the whole of you is worthy. I'm getting this message of don't spend too much time wondering about other people and whether they're going to accept you, because it's about you accepting you. It's about you loving you. And you're so worthy of it. Oh. Pile 4. I am going to leave the message here. I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for keeping going. Thank you for being on my channel. And seriously, thank you to your guides, to my guides, and to the Great Spirit for bringing these energies together so that these messages could flow through. Please send huge hugs to all of the collective of Pile 4. Give them all the love. All of the love and the support on the spiritual realm, please. Thank you. Pile 4, if this resonated, if it helped, and you would like to return the gratitude with supporting my channel, you can do that by liking this video, commenting in the comment section below. You can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and in the description box, there are links to donate to my channel. There should be a PayPal link as well as a Venmo link. You can donate on either one of those platforms if you are feeling called to. But I'm going to leave you here, and thank you guys for this. Truly, thank you. I love you guys so much. I will see you next time. Bye.